We are live. Welcome back. This is Growlersations, episode 26, I think. And we are here at another super secret location. We had a botched growler fill, so we are doing it pint-wise like that. And our special guest today is Stephanie Meyer of Lakewood Brewing Company, a good friend of ours, but also, why don't you tell us what your job is at Lakewood?
I do national chain accounts for Lakewood and do some marketing, some strategic partnerships, a little bit of everything.
Strategic partnerships is Growlersations.
Growlersations is the most strategic partnership I've done all day.
It's a strategic partnership. I like
that
it.
did not come out right, but let's roll with it.
Hey, you know, there's no takesy backsies on Growlersations.
Strike that. Sorry, we were talking Willy Wonka earlier. Strike
My
that.
fave.
Reverse it.
Reverse it.
So I do just we're a small company, kind of wherever they need me to step in, help out. But my main focus is chain accounts, so I call on places like Kroger, Tom Thumb, some local chains or smaller ones like a Whole Foods.
So you've done this
Central
before.
Market. I have, once or twice. I've been here, this is my second week on the job. Risen to the top quite quickly.
I guess in other shows this is where they'd be like, Stephanie Meyer, victory, started off at that, did this, so where are you now?
I did.
You know, like we did our homework or something?
But you didn't do your homework.
At least we pronounced your name right. When we did Collective, I pronounced every single person's name wrong. I had always called them by all their first names. I had never, you know what I mean? Like in this business, you don't call people Mr. So-and-so very often, you know? It was like
Most people don't call me by my first name.
He called you Kraft with two F's, you know?
We also call her Kraft or Meyer, whatever you want.
I answer to quite a few things.
All right, I've been social shared.
Uncle Meyer.
Uncle Meyer, Uncle Stephanie. That's
So my
usually
kids
the only
call you?
time they use my name is Uncle Stephanie. Yeah, your kids do call me Uncle Stephanie.
Corey Pond is first to log in, ready to go.
That's too much pressure.
We've got a good audience so far.
Audience of one.
Audience of one, indeed. You know, I had to swear not to say anything during Corey's Growlersations that he did with it, but I think now that his episode's over, I'm allowed to talk about it. He wore a gold necklace that said self-made on it, and it had a self-made emblem hanging, and he said, I'm going to wear this, but I need neither of y'all to say anything. The only way I'm going to wear it is if I just wear it around my neck and y'all act like it's like my normal jewelry. Well, I haven't taken a sip yet, so I'm behind. So, sorry. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, and thanks for coming out to Lakewood. We sure appreciate both of you guys on most levels. So.
On most levels.
I thought you were going to mention the hats.
Well, we'll get there.
No, the way you went into it. Corey said I couldn't talk about it.
Oh, yeah. No. I was talking about how the Thanos of Shitdang, but we'll get back to that.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, I'll get little Shitdang hats tattooed on my knuckles. That's how I get into knuckle tattoos.
Yeah, that's 3 of them passed.
So one of the things that I said, actually, when I was preparing for this, there's a little bit of preparing that happens when I'm writing the description of what this episode was going to be. I kind of went on a little bit about Lakewood when I, was really meaning to be talking about you. But one of the things I said was that Lakewood was one of the first breweries of Dallas's, modern rebirth of craft beer. And when I think of that early days in the Dallas beer scene, it was the, Lakewood, Petacolis, Deep Ellum were the only 3 places going on. Community came in, I think, right after that.
We were right about the same time, I think.
I can't remember exactly how it goes, but those were the 4, OG Dallas breweries that were the ones that started this next movement,
Exactly when was that? Sorry,
nice pun.
That's a bad joke. Sorry.
We just celebrated our 6th anniversary in August.
6, huh?
Yes.
That was what I was going to ask. Is when was that?
6 years in August.
Okay.
And it's been crazy. You know,
Yeah,
just
look
to
at
see the
this
growth.
thing.
We just talked about some numbers today, though, that there's like 7,200 brewing operations in the United States this year. The BA just released their stats.
Wow.
And that's up like 1,100 from last year.
Yeah.
And, you know, so you talk about the boom and how quickly it happened, and especially in North Texas. You know, you guys have both experienced enough in the beer industry to, you remember when, gosh, do you remember how cool it was when we're like, oh my gosh, Stone is coming out with this new beer, Victory is coming out with this new beer, and now you have these people doing it in your own backyard.
Yeah.
And I've never, in the 20 years of in the hospitality industry, I've never seen a trend that has taken off as quickly and kind of as, not going to find the right word for it, but taken off as quickly as craft beer has, and especially in Texas.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm talking about Drew, talking about it with Drew the other day. He was saying, you know, those other places that are big that we know as the meccas, it's been like 20, 30 years, you know? That's why they're educated, they're like knowledgeable, the people want the beer. And then in Texas, it's like, whoop, hey, you want beer? Here it is, 10 years later, you know? Like, they expect people to understand it.
Well, and it was also trying to catch up to the trend so quickly, because that's one thing that Texas likes more than anything is taking pride in being number one. And there's that. So I think that there's also kind of this insatiable need for the people of Texas to catch up to the national trend too.
Yeah.
That they didn't kind of want to be left behind on it.
Yeah. You know, I was, you know, we drink cool beers all the time. I opened up some fun beers out of my cellar the other day for a bottle share with some friends last Saturday, and I never really felt like I was like opening up like Time Machine beer until I opened up an 0909 Stone Vertical Epic and a 121212 Stone Vertical Epic.
Yeah.
And that was just like, I hadn't really thought about how much beer has come since then, because that was when it was like we were being creative. We put a spice in there, and that was like as wild as brewing was getting. Yeah. Or those vertical epics were like pushing the boundaries because they put chamomile in a pale ale, and it was. And it was like
innovation is getting harder and harder
thing.
too at this point, because innovation happens so quickly. You know, you talk about like Stone, or I mean, gosh, you take Victory. They were bourbon barrel aging Storm King, and that was so far ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And now a bourbon barrel aged beer is on the shelf year round in a 4-pack with something like you know, Dragon's Milk.
Yeah.
So
Where
just even to see the innovation on the trends, and I mean, we scramble. I mean, we scramble a little bit trying to come up with innovation and what's going to appeal to the consumer next, and what's going to trend.
Yeah, you know, it was funny that whole bottle share last weekend was funny because it was like I kept introducing beers that were like the old school thing. I was like introducing Hunapu this was like the first Mexican chocolate imperial stout. Before everybody did a Mexican chocolate imperial stout, this was like the one that was creative, you know. And it's funny, like you're saying, it's harder and harder to innovate and think outside the box. Drew, because we're a brew pub, we have lots of fun things we get to do while we're tiny that aren't quite necessarily feasible in a beautiful facility like this. But what's the like hop nectar that was the drippings from the dry hop sacks and like all kinds of crazies. What is that?
They just threw it was the fresh hop one, and they tossed it in another thing. What did they call it too? Anyway, but either way, I can't think of the name, so it's not going to do justice to it.
They pulled all the dry hopping bags out of P-Wing.
Yeah, P-Wing,
and then set the bags aside, and all of the beer that dripped out of the hops into that vessel became like what he's calling like Granddaddy P-Wing or something. I forget what it's called.
Funny, Drew, I apologize.
Yeah, I know. Drew, chime in if you want to let us know.
But I think that's also what's really neat that shapes the landscape of beers, that you guys that have this awesome small brew pub, and you have a smaller system, and you guys can constantly bring in something new, and you can, you know, and then you've got a larger brewery like Lakewood that we continue to innovate, and we're doing some really cool things.
But we also have loaded with cool stuff that no one's ever heard of.
But we also have something like we're drinking right now, like the Lakewood Lager, that is such a staple of who we are. It's more of a lifestyle, you know. You want that easy drinking 5% beer. So I think that it's great that we have all these different types of brewing facilities that can kind of work within the confines of what works for them and put out really cool stuff.
Well, I mean, and I say we rushed into the beer, right, for the years that we've been doing it. But I mean, we have some badass beers.
Oh yeah.
You know, not us. I'm saying,
Oh,
all
just
of us.
collectively. Oh.
Yeah, in Texas, like they're really awesome. And so it's like I feel like I don't know where you were going with the trending thing, but I think everyone will get smaller in their own areas, and then it'll just be the
I see
badass
brand
things in your
identities
local-
emerging in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I think that the brands were built, and then I think that as the next 5 years go along, that you will see Lakewood will emerge as your neighborhood go-to Lakewood lager.
Yeah.
That and even within the brands, the breweries, that the brands will emerge, and that Brain Dead will continue to emerge as this innovative, boundary-pushing, fun, exciting new pub in the Deep Ellum area.
It's not to. This is going to come off the wrong way. There's no good way to say this, but it just blows my mind that there's still people that have never even heard of Brain Dead before that live in Dallas. And you probably run into that with Lakewood, and you're just like, they're like, Lakewood, what's that? And
I'm
you're
in 500 grocery stores across North
Yeah.
Texas. How do you not know Lakewood?
Where do you get gas and milk, dude? Come on. But I mean, it's just it's mind blowing how I don't want to say under a rock some people are, but everybody has their own little circle, and I've never really mentioned Dallas Kicks Ass on Growlersations before, but that was why I started Dallas Kicks Ass, was to brag on other people's stuff, but also partly to kind of hold myself accountable for getting outside of my box. And
Absolutely.
the same 12 places that I go all the time, hey, just because I haven't been there in the last 6 weeks doesn't mean that those are the only places that I can choose from to go to. And it kind of held me accountable to kind of get out there a little bit more. But it's just I've never ceased to be amazed by, the things. And even as an advocate for this city, there's a billion things that I've never done that people are like, what? You've never been to the 6th Floor Museum? And it's like, no,
I've still never done that.
Whatever that thing is, there's a dozen of those that you could say about everybody. But,
Yeah, that's true.
Explore local.
We're all the same, man.
Real. For sure. Corey says, what about Firewheel? He was in the OG beer launch breweries. Firewheel was definitely in that first handful. Rest in peace, Firewheel.
Good point, Corey. Anything else?
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Pond. Is he going to fact check the Growlersations for us? Can he be our Snopes? And anytime we say anything factually inaccurate, he just calls us out in the chat things. Also, we do have the chat window going, so if you have any questions for any of us, we are open to hear them. Whether or not they're silly or not, we usually like to respond to them. Well, one of the next things that we've got going on, we're in North Texas Beer Week, and you are co-hosting, a part of our Women of Craft Beer event that is tomorrow.
Only reason I come out and do events anymore, you guys get me out of my hole.
Hey, there you go.
You get me out of my yoga pants and office at home.
That's the plan, anyways.
So I look forward to it every year, you guys.
Tori gets
4
a break.
years? Yeah, that's the most important part. Is my husband's like, she's gone for a week.
This is the 4th. Yeah, this is the 4th.
I'm very excited for it, and I know that you and I talked in depth that I think that this year, especially with Me Too and Time's Up, that hosting these kind of events like you do and really shedding a light on not just what women go through, but let's highlight the positives.
Yeah.
Where I know that there's really not a pay gap within craft beer for women.
Yeah.
That's something that we definitely can highlight, but also it's like we need to do a
craft beer period.
There's a pay gap in craft beer. There's not one between the men and women. We all just need more money. But yeah, just making sure too that the women of craft beer, I think that we really have a responsibility, and I think that Me Too and Time's Up are a call to action. And it certainly made me take a look back and say, how have I been ineffective as a woman in craft beer? Not necessarily we always talk about what's wrong with it, but we never talk about what's the next step. How are we going to fix it?
What are we going to do to make it better?
What are we going to do to make it better? And I'm guilty of that as well. And so I've really looked at this as a call to action. So what can I do? Well, I probably need to be more involved in some mentoring and stuff. I mean, I've been very fortunate to work for 3 really great breweries now. I've had some really good career success, but how do I parlay that and help somebody else get to that next level?
Mentoring Meyer. I'm not saying it as a joke, dude.
No, I'm kind of laughing because I don't know if anybody really wants me to mentor them.
I think that you're like self-deprecating to a point, like, but you're like badass. You know that,
She
right?
invented #meh.
Claim to fame. It's going to go on my gravestone.
No, but that's what Jeff was saying. I didn't mean to belittle that statement with a joke there at the end. But you are a for lack of a better term, a badass woman. You know?
Well, thank you.
You're awesome. You're someone who I've always respected in a lot of different ways, and you're just fun to be around because of, like you were saying, you don't talk about the change that needs to happen. You talk about being an agent of that change, and that's what I respect most about you. Is you're a doer and not a talker. And
Thanks. It's really nice.
You say, hey, we're going to make something happen. You make it happen.
I think it's just, like I said, I just think it's important, and I thought that it was important for you guys as well to make sure that we really send out a positive and strong message. And there's some women in craft beer that have been so good to me. You know, you talk about the Tish Smiths and the Nadine Mae Jones and the Julie Rhodes and the Mel Hanses of the world who just, I mean, I couldn't have gotten where I'm at without them. And there really haven't been a lot of women in positions like mine.
My Deschutes tattoo is really a Tish Smith.
It's an homage to Tish. I mean, how can it not be? She's great. But then, you know, as I was coming up, I had really strong male allies when I was at Victory and at Santan, and they elevated me to where I was able to step into the role that I'm in now. But when I was coming up, there weren't sales managers really that were women. There weren't chain account managers. It's been a very male-driven segment of the industry. So I hope that we start seeing some change with that. And, you know, there's some really strong ladies coming up that they're bright, they're engaged, they're passionate, but they're also go-getters and doers.
That's awesome. You know,
but like I said, we couldn't do it without strong allies like you guys at Brain Dead, without the men that I've had support me.
Well, just people in general.
I heard that compliment, and I appreciate that, so thank you. One of the things that I really love that's been going on at Brain Dead, and I mentioned this while we were talking with our chef Taylor the other day, is like while breweries have always been very classically male-dominated areas, kitchens are also very male-dominated areas, and as a brew pub, we're kind of in a funny place where we have all of those things, and with the recent changes of the last, pretty much 6 months of our evolution in the kitchen at Brain Dead, it's been really cool to see our back of the house become like such a friendly, happy, like safe place. I don't mean to like say it in a softy way, but like where everybody is like feeling super comfortable. And I've had, women say, hey, we work here because we know that you guys are going to listen to us and like not tolerate it if someone slaps any butts or something like that. And we have this cool, young, smiling kitchen of all of these like optimistic people that are happy to like, have a place to go do the thing that they're passionate about. And there's cool, young men and young women and people of all different kinds, back there doing their thing and getting to, work in an environment where it doesn't matter what's in their pants, and
they definitely fuck around like a kitchen. Don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah, don't worry. But you get what I'm saying.
That also does too.
No, I mean, I'm
when
saying,
you
like,
create a
it's not
safe,
that
comfortable
machismo.
place, you increase the employee's confidence, and when you can work with confidence in any field, you're going to perform better. So you guys are also going to get a better productivity out of your employees by creating that confident, safe work environment.
Just flicking off whim.
We have some awesome female leaders coming up in our kitchen right now that I'm really excited about. Obviously, Tori's one of the first people that I think of who's coming up into a sous chef role who's awesome.
I mean, if you want.
I mean,
this will probably kill it. This will probably kill it.
Okay, well, there you go.
It's okay. You can
like,
glass change if you want.
We'll do this.
And then just chug.
All right. Old Craig Bradley's watching. Hey, CB.
Hey, Craig.
Baby Craig.
Hey, Craig's opening a brewery, isn't he?
He is.
Why don't you tell us about it in the comments? Todd is back. Todd, are you a real Growlersations fan? We're not drinking your beer this week. You don't have to watch.
Dude, I had his beer at the community, or the, Luck.
Anniversary.
Yeah, anniversary. Their beer was good, man. And
Which
what
one?
was the other, Craig's beer? Victor?
The Vector.
I
Yeah.
haven't had it yet.
Yeah.
They're doing a Pilsner. I heard that's just
Yeah.
delish, which is my jam beer.
And the stout was awesome. I think it was a milk stout.
Tell us about this beer.
Well, this is
I'm just kidding about
Artsy
the milk
Tartsy, which I will tell y'all here is going to be our new spring seasonal.
Ooh, you heard it
It
here
is
first.
heard it here first. This is a black currant Berliner Weiss, 4%, and just light, tart, crisp, refreshing. Will come in cans and package. Just kind of that summer. It's a craft beer rosé.
Ooh, nice. I like that. Even the salesman nailed the sales part.
That
of
little
it.
cranberry back end is like just right.
Just the right tickle of tart.
So
Maybe
you
that's
just
our
write
tagline.
this shit down.
I
now.
mean,
We need to get her in the marketing next T-shirt. Next time we're designing T-shirts.
listen,
Tickle a tart.
Yeah.
I gave you my t-shirt selection, and you kiboshed it.
Which one?
Jeff Fryman, 8-year-old Jeff Fryman on
Oh,
a shirt.
on a basketball? No.
Yeah.
No, Melissa was your biggest advocate on that. She
Oh, I mean,
she
I
wanted
think
to
that-
have- I wanted a big full screen selfie station. I wanted to like at the red carpet, you know.
Yeah,
they
like I
have
get to
the-
sit by you.
Like a step and repeat with nothing but Jeff Fryman behind
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, just one big one. Basketball bubbles.
You're talking about like old school, like where
Yeah.
you stand
Like those
here
cardboard
and Jeff's right here
cutouts.
going.
Yeah, like full size.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe
So,
with the
we
head
would
cut
stand
it.
up
No,
to
the
the
head with the glasses is the important
That'd
part
be
of
funny.
the
You get to be me.
Can't cut it out.
becoming Jeff Fryman.
So, for those of you guys wondering about
That
that
would be
Women in
funny.
Craft Beer event, that is at Brain Dead tomorrow, which is Wednesday. We're right in the middle of North Texas Beer Week, so we got a lot of awesomeness. It's also Election Day. Stephanie doesn't vote because she says that voting is for suckers. I'm just
Thanks
kidding.
for having me.
Stephanie voted early.
I early voted.
Jeff and I last minute, or as Anton says, on time voted.
Out of my home voting district today. I had to vote early.
Hey, you better I voted.
My voting little poll is this cool little church right on the far end of Deep Ellum, and it's so easy. I walk in, walk out, whether it's early or day of,
It's
no
weird
problem.
that it's in a church to me. You know, they're like separation of church and state. It's okay that it's in a school, but church, I don't understand.
The church keeps the state safe from being separated.
Yeah. I mean, I get that it's a building where they can do stuff in, but it's like, it's interesting. I just thought it was weird. Sorry.
Is there any concerns from you guys about how this voting is going to go in terms of how it'll affect craft beer with, you know, I think that there's a lot to be said about what's happening and the way some...
You know, that kind of brings up an interesting thing because, honestly, as like a brew pub owner, a lot of our issues are kind of not really at the forefront of our minds from a beer standpoint. Obviously, there's a lot of issues that I'd like to see addressed, but from a beer standpoint, you know, we sell beer to go, and we have the liberties that breweries are fighting for. You know, if anything, that, you know, I think it's gotten to the tricky part to where each beer law that changes now is going to be by the evil empire, the powers that be. They're going to start trying to pick fights with us. And they're going to start trying to put laws that make you and me disagree.
pitted against each other.
And that's going to be the next political move in the beer world, is because now, you know, you have people that are like, you know, suing the TABC and stuff like that for the rights to be able to sell beer to go. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's the breweries narrative kind of hurts the brew pub at this point, you know, because breweries are always talking about, oh, you can't buy beer to go, you can't buy beer to go, you can't buy beer to go, and people don't know that you can buy beer to go at our place because they don't know that we're not a brewery, because they don't know that we're a brew pub, and they don't know that that's a different thing. And so we're kind of in a funny little place. I'm down for the cause. Jeff's down for the cause. We're not going to be the type of people that, vote politically to further our pocketbook. We'll do what we think is right for the industry. But, I think that's going to be the next trouble that we have to overcome as an
infighting
industry.
With the industry? Well, I think that it's already started.
Yeah.
It started with Anheuser-Busch, and I think that, I see it even on a local level, breweries fighting breweries and fighting for shelf space. And
well, isn't it the reason why we call them out for sell out? That's why we do that, right? That's them trying to control us in a certain way. They make great beer, but now they're a sellout, which I agree with, but I don't know how to reconcile that in my head. Sorry.
No, that's tough. Four Corners is on my block. It's literally the street that I live on, and I've called them out for being owned by Modelo, and I've had some neighborhood people, come at me in a weird way, and it's like, you don't understand. This is them spending more money than me to run me out of business. That's what their next goal is.
Yeah.
Their next goal isn't to make more beer. Their next goal is to spend so much money that breweries within a mile of them go out of business.
Well, and one of the bigger problems, especially for a brewery like Lakewood, and why they hire somebody like me, is because they're beating us at grocery. We absolutely rely on our 6-packs and 4-packs being sold at the grocery store. And when Anheuser-Busch is the set captain for these retail chains,
dude,
how can you compete with that? And it's getting harder and harder. And I just was running late today because we had a meeting, and my position in only 2 years has changed from being kind of offensive sales to I'm a defensive player.
Yeah.
That's all I can do now is necessarily going to defend the space that I have.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to grow our brand in that when we certainly cannot compete with the dollars that they spend.
Right.
We can't compete with lowering our prices because they do. They have better access to resources, and it's all the reasons why these guys sell, but it's also a detriment to me. I see both sides of it, and I don't begrudge you for doing what you had to do to sell your business. It's just that I feel a little differently about it.
Yeah, well, they're my neighbors, and so because they're on the street that I live on, it's just in my face every day. And I'm not going to shy away from a difficult conversation. I don't necessarily know exactly how I feel about this, but Luck, guys who are catering my wedding, Luck, local craft beer, urban kitchen, whatever it stands for. I love you guys. I love your beer, but they're doing all the food at Four Corners, and they call themselves, I don't sell beer that's not from 75 miles from here, and now they're doing all of the food at the Modelo brewery.
Yeah.
Whoa, what's going on? There's no line, and I'm not calling them wrong. I'm not calling them right. I'm not calling them anything. I'm calling out the fact that the lines are blurred for me, and I know where everything is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine what it's like for a consumer who doesn't get to see
doesn't
behind
even
any of
know,
the curtains, And it's just confusing and tricky, and that's the whole thing that's going on behind the curtain that the beer people see and the non-beer people don't, is they don't understand that there's a witch back there stirring a pot, and that's actually what's happening. There are business meetings where they're like, how can we get in there and screw them all up? But that sounds conspiracy theoristy, but I know it happens.
Totally. I think, I can say several things. So I don't, they're friends with them, right?
Yeah.
So that you get why they would do that, be we're going to do it on food, but totally don't understand sometimes.
It's just tricky. I don't know what opinion to have, is where I kind of leave it.
Man.
You having trouble wrapping your brain around this one?
Well, because it's what should we keep talking about this? Because People are gonna, you know.
Well, what North Texas Beer Week events do you have going up? You got anything cool besides Women of Craft Beer tomorrow?
I think that one of the cooler events that we're doing is at the Green Room on Thursday, and it's a deconstructed Lion's Share 6 flight.
Okay.
And our Lion's Share 6 was a blend of our Three Fates series, which was Thread Spinner, which was a bourbon barrel-aged rye wine. And then we did Grimshire, okay, I'm gonna get this wrong.
No.
We did Grimshire. I'm just really got a bad memory.
No.
Anyway, it's a
Spinner
blend
was
of
the rye wine,
it was
I
Thread
believe.
Spinner was the rye wine, and then Grand Allowance was our Chardonnay barrel aged wheat wine, and then we did Grimshire, which is a rye barrel aged rye wine, and we did a blend of those three. And then we also added some of last year's BBT, which is our bourbon barrel temptress. So it truly was our anniversary beer meant what it was supposed to be, which is a 2 to 3 year barrel age project. I mean, we've had some of these beers in barrels for 3 years.
Wow.
So you blend them all together. I mean, Tommy did a fabulous job. Tommy Gutierrez, who's one of our cellar master. A great job blending this out. And so you'll get a pour of BBT, the Grand Allowance, Grimshire. Am I forgetting all of them? You get a pour of all the beers, and it's like $6, and then you pay whatever amount of money, and it's
The mind erases.
Don't look into them.
And that's at Green Room tomorrow
yeah, it's at
night?
the Green Room on Thursday. Tomorrow night's the Women of Craft Beer. Today is
That works out because Brain Dead's closed on Thursday. We're getting that money for a private party. So sorry, guys.
get that PP money, man. That's the best.
Gotta do it. We'll put a sign on the door that says, print us a sign, and we'll put it on the door that says go to Green Room for the event.
Perfect. Yeah, so that should be fun. And we're gonna, like, a bunch of the old employees that have been here and have, been part of this are gonna be able to come back and kind of taste them all separately and then taste them together.
Awesome.
It was a cool project. I thought it was a great event. Our sales rep, Jay Watson, who I think is your rep down there, did a really, really good job putting this together.
That sounds like a cool event.
It is. There's some cool stuff going on.
Speaking of, Green Room is one of those places. As much as I love Deep Ellum, I don't spend enough time in that place. There's so many places I'm out there, loving and supporting. Green Room, unfortunately, misses. There's nothing not to love about that place. The original rooftop of Deep Ellum.
Yeah. Oh man.
Back before Deep Ellum rooftops were cool, Green Room had one.
What was it? Was that Mark? Who's the chef there that made the mussels famous?
Oh yeah, Mark Castle or Mark. What's the guy that's at 20 feet?
Was it Mark Castle that had the Green Room?
Yeah,
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, because he brought over the Green Room mussels to 20 feet.
It was one of those iconic Dallas dishes when I moved here.
It was fused like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I remember when I moved here, it was in D Magazine. It was like 20 iconic Dallas dishes, and I was living in Deep Ellum, and that was one of them.
Dude, that place is the shit. You've been to 20 feet?
I have.
Dude.
It's close to the brewery. We eat over there, and a good friend quite a bit, and...
Dude, holler next time. I live like halfsies.
Well, I know where you live.
Well, what the fuck then?
This sounds kind of dumb, but
you're allowed to cuss. You can do whatever you want.
Wim actually gave me my first pupusa experience.
Nice.
I was out here hanging out, and it was
right here.
Oh, actually, it was when this was dirt.
Yes.
Wim gave me a tour, and he walked us through where he was here too.
Yeah.
He walked us through like it was built, because when you stare at the plans that much, you can do it. It was dirt. Maybe there were some trenches for plumbing. And he walked us in the front door and was like, here's the front door, tasting room, beans, bar, merch table,
office,
door, office, mezzanine. And then we walked through, and he counted 10 steps forward and 10 steps over.
Oh yeah, he did do that. He goes,
and
this is the bathroom.
Yeah, and he was giving us a straight up tour of a building that didn't even exist yet, and it was what became this.
It became Lakewood.
It's always going to be something that I remember about this place, because the original brewery was a little bit smaller, and it's still there. It's just not.
We use that founder's room for private events, or for our staff uses it kind of as a crash pad during the day to work on stuff.
Yeah.
And
well, after we left that tour, I asked him where to go, and he pointed out some pupusa is like a I don't know. It's like a masa quesadilla full of cheese, but it's sealed. It's like a cheese pocket. I don't know.
It's a Mexican dumpling. It's like
Mexican dumpling.
Maybe like or
Yeah,
Mexican ravioli.
You can put
It's probably
other
at
stuff in it
Tranky's.
too, with meat and stuff. But what was that place? What is it called?
Tranky's Tacos.
Yeah.
We
Was
also,
that the place? It looked. I mean, you walk
probably
in
it.
and it was just like, yep, this is gonna be the place.
It was
It
pretty
was
awesome.
great.
Yeah, that was a cool day.
It's fun. It's been fun to watch the place grow and expand.
So
And
Wim, I know from before beer. He worked with my stepmom at Tracy Locke, and I knew Wim before Lakewood was Lakewood, and so we still have our relationship through beer is where we've like forged our real friendship.
Yeah.
But I think because we know each other before that, our relationship is kind of, since it predates it, we've always kind of been pretty cool.
just kind of eased into a.
Yeah. And in every expansion, he always tells me I asked for the coolest tours. I asked him to see the glycol chiller after the thing was first built. I think it was 2 anniversary parties ago was like the big like hurrah for this being unveiled. Maybe it was 3 anniversary parties ago. But he was down there and I was like, so what's the glycol chiller on this bitch look like? He's like, no one's seen that. We're going up a ladder. And we like climbed up into some weird little hole in the roof or something like that. I asked the right question.
I was just gonna say, you asked the right person, the right question on the right day. He loves showing off the inner workings of Lakewood. Have you seen our new sour facility? So we have a building that's right next door that we've taken over, and we've built a barrel room. And
Took over another building?
Yeah, we did.
Got the beers.
Thanks, Craig. So we took over the room, a building next door, and we've built a separate sour facility where all the barrel aging happens, inoculation. I mean, it's a clean sour room. And
awesome.
Then a separate barrel cooler. And so,
that's like back there?
Yeah, so you walk back, or if you went in front of the building, it's just the next building over. We're separated. We're not fully connected, but that's great. I mean, it's just a separate building and keeps everything clean, which is really important,
Right, for sure.
When you start messing around with all those different yeasts and bacteria, we all know different breweries that have.
Well, I guess it was 5 years ago was when we were studying for all that Master Cicerone exam business. And
is that why we were here? And then had the poop piece of pizzeria?
Maybe. You're gonna poop a pizzeria?
Maybe. But when we went we took the Master Cicerone exam with Patrick Rue, and then now we're like homies with the founder of the brewery, and then we went to like do taste the barrels.
Yeah.
And he was like pulling all the nails out and everything, and he was like,
wearing flip-flops.
Yeah, he's my flip-flop brother. But that was like kind of one of the first places where he was like, and then this building is for the sours, and then this building is for the bourbon barrel aged things.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of the first times. I'm not a brewer. I'm a home brewer. I've brewed some home beers. I'm never worried about like bacteria crosses and things like that.
Yeah.
But that was like right when that was starting to be the case. Like, hey, let's take the bourbon barrel aged stuff, put it over here. Let's take the sour barrel aged stuff and put it over here. And you don't think about it, but wood is not stainless steel like the tanks.
Right.
Things can jump. It was like the New Belgium story of the Evil Twin and McKellar collaboration, or was that that was Jolly Pumpkin?
Yeah.
Jolly Pumpkin accidentally did the first Evil Twin and McKellar collaboration because
accidentally, purposely.
Whether or not it's on purpose or not, the fooders were next door to each other, and they claimed that the microbes jumped, and that's what made the beers taste like each other. But it was like the brothers that don't like each other's collaboration with Jolly Pumpkin somehow all got mixed.
That's funny.
And it became like
I thought they literally mixed the beer together later.
Oh, I thought that Jeffries did it like without telling them, and that they found out on Twitter. He was like, there was cross contamination, so I said screw it, blended them together, and then like the brothers started a fight on Twitter about like being mad at each other.
Yeah, Tupac Biggie kind of thing. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
They are the Tupac and Biggie of craft beer.
Right.
The Danish.
except they're
The
alive.
Danish or the hip hops.
So there's that difference.
Fair enough.
Those crazy Danes. We've cold emailed Jep.
Yeah.
What's his name? Jep. Jeppy.
Mikel? I did the other guy.
Oh yeah, the brother is
The
Jep.
collab.
The brother's evil twin
Yeah.
is Jep, right?
Maybe
And
you
then
cold
Nickel.
emailed him. And he's
Nickel
like,
was
yes, next time I'm in town. That's the way I hear it when I read
When you
it.
read it, in
You always
English.
read it in his accent.
Yes, he's like, oh, next time we come to Texas, I will let you know. He hadn't let me know.
He hadn't got back to me. I was trying
I had dinner with him last week.
I was trying to, back like 8 or 9 years ago, I was trying to track down all the Trappist cheeses that were made by the monasteries that made the Trappist beers.
Yeah.
And I like hollered at Orval and was like, hey, I'm trying to get your cheese. Can you let me know what's going on? And like a French monk like responded to me in broken English and like forwarded my email to like a cheesemaker that he knew would understand more of the words. And it was like the coolest email thread that I've ever had. It was like, you know, Trappist monastery. For those of you guys that don't know, Trappist beers are made by Trappist monks in Trappist monasteries. And I literally emailed a monk.
Yeah.
And he like got back to me to help me find out who the importer was for Orval cheese that brought it into Texas. And it was,
Wow.
I was connecting me to people in France because they sell it to someone in France who sells it to somebody in DC who sells it to somebody in Texas. And then it was a whole thing, but it was one of the wildest little email chains I ever accidentally started of trying to track down some
That's pretty awesome.
monastery cheese.
I usually just get string cheese sticks. It seems to
Just dip them in the Orval.
Yeah.
Just dip some. This is what
chug
I call
the Orval
That's
and
what I
then
call
some
Orval
string
cheese.
cheese.
You know, Orval would probably make a tasty mustard. I didn't really think about that, but Orval mustard on string cheese sounds delicious.
Or just like when you see a like buffalo, like just resting in some kind of liquid, it could be Orval. Put your string cheese in it, put it in the fridge.
I'm going to
Just a
go
little
ahead
trick.
with my craft singles. Just pack them all up. Pour a little lager over it. We're going to do some Lakewood
too.
cheese.
Pepper jack cheese.
Real classy.
Going to be craft
America.
cheese.
America.
Cheese.
I do the squares that they have now, like easy to eat squares. Just kill all the pepper jack before Alicia can get to them. You know that, like, you never seen those at the store?
Yes.
It's like 5 different little squares that
It's like
fit right on
it's like
crackers.
the whole little
I don't have
tray
to
of
do anything.
processed cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the jam.
Well, anybody got anything else that needs covering? I think we're at the end of these growlers here. What else do we have for North Texas Beer Week? Oh, Bust to Nowhere sold out. If you didn't buy your ticket, you can't come. We warned you last week.
Where's it going?
Nowhere. Yeah, it's,
So it'll be
just
stopping
sit
at
on a
your
bus.
place
the whole bus.
and the common table, obviously, because those places are
We
nowhere.
added Civil Pour.
It picks up at Common Table, drops off at Common Table, and then we hit
Civil
Civil
Pour,
Pour, Brain
Bowls.
Dead. I don't know the order. Civil Pour, Brain Dead, and Bowls.
Yeah.
And
Where's the third one?
Bowls and Tacos.
Oh,
Yeah,
you said
thanks.
Bowls, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the new place?
Yeah, it's a
Bowls?
taco shop that your friend started.
Yeah.
I tried to go there last week
Soon to be a head
at
shop.
11 o'clock.
Yeah, we're diversifying into pipes soon. So
Bowls
Which
and
is
tacos.
checking
it
the-
a
fits.
whole
I'm checking the lease.
nother-
I'm checking the lease. Watch
Just
out,
saying.
Norman. I'm coming for you.
Book me as your first guest on
Yeah,
Growlersations.
You hated that 1420 place, so I'm assuming. Or it was like the Hydro.
We're gonna be the only taco place in town you're not allowed to say the word bomb.
Dude, are they allowed to say that now? Because I walked into some head
I
shop.
said bong in a head shop.
And I was like,
Kick
I
me
don't know what I'm gonna let. And they're like, is that a chillum? And they're like, yeah, you're allowed to say whatever, man. It's cool now. I was like, okay, cool.
Shit's almost
What a
legal.
time to
Don't
be
worry.
alive.
Yeah. I thought they were just being cool with me because I look like me.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way this guy's a
Don't
cop.
worry. He's not gonna keep it. This guy's not.
Would an undercover cop have arm candy like that?
Hey,
Maybe.
what are you saying? Where do you get those? Zotos?
Yeah.
Hot topic? I don't know.
All right, guys. Thank you
Cheers.
all for joining us for episode 26.
To Anton.
Anton, Central Track, thank you guys all for doing your thing. If you're checking us out live, make sure you come see us tomorrow at Brain Dead, or even tonight. We've got some video game action. Hey, this is the whim we were talking about right here.
Uncle
just had to come
Wim.
at the end.
I just want to say hi.
Yeah, just for the no pressure part
What's up,
after the beers are done. But yeah, North Texas Beer Week. Get out there, drink beer, go somewhere new, try some beer you haven't had. Enjoy yourself.
Cheers.
Subscribe.
Cheers.
Ring the bell.
Oh, I tried to chug it.
And we're out.